How about if we just do this? All right. I might be slow, but I get there. So I like to start off with a joke. And this is a sweet joke. And to the men in the audience, I love you very much.
There's a butt coming.
There is a butt coming. I recently read that when women sleep, only 10% of the electrical activity in their brain rest. They're 90% alert. Do you guys know why that is? So that they could hear the babies. Mothers, or that's the nature of a woman. Even when a baby cries, if they're breastfeeding, the breast will fill up with milk for the baby. The nature of a woman's body is amazing. And so is a man's. When a man sleeps, 70% of his electrical activity shuts down. And that's when he moves into natural gas. Thank you for laughing. And I like laughter. You know why I like laughter? I was told that when we laugh, we open up our pathways to life. We open up our lungs, our capacity to take in life more. And the breath we breathe is a natural anesthetic. It helps us feel better. And also the air that we breathe, the breath that we breathe, it also is a way to eliminate toxins. So when we breathe it in and hold on to it just a little bit, because this is our life, hold on to it for a second. And the more that we express out, the easier it is to breathe in. But we eliminate toxins in our body through our breath, our skin, and our bathroom visits. So breathing is one of the essential things to life. Because life is an inside job. I'm talking about nurturing the nature in each and every one of us. When we plant seeds, we don't see anything right away. The work is done underneath the surface. So it's an inside job. When we have the opportunity to plant seeds of possibility in us, we are creating a garden that attracts beauty, that attracts similar thinking, that attracts people like-minded. If we let it go, if we just let it go and the weeds overtake the garden, weeds are still flowered. People call them bad, but they tend to choke out anything if you don't maintain them. You're following me so far? Do we have gardeners in the house? We got a couple. That's good. So what we're talking about today is the rich soil or soil that our minds and our heart plant the life of our dreams. And what we talk about, what we give activity to, we give breath to. So we are creating life by our focus, by our connectedness with it, and our actions. So first and foremost, life happens twice. Once on the inside and once in physical form. So we want to be, just simply be the beauty of life. There's no struggle or strife. There's not anything that we have to fix. Everything that's already happened has happened. We can rearrange furniture on the Titanic, but it still went down, right? It's okay. That is something that we experienced. What I'm inviting us to do today is to breathe in the possibilities of creating a beautiful, powerful life that attracts like-minded people. I used to work for Tony Robbins. Some people may like him or may not, but he teaches everything we teach in New Thought. So we have the possibility, he charges, I think nowadays it's $1,997. But we get to come here for free, and whatever we choose to tithe, whatever you seem to value, the peace and the welcoming and the love that you get when you come here. It fills the soul, it nurtures the soul. So the flower doesn't sit there and dream of attracting bees. The flower just blooms and the bees come. Take that in, because that's really essential to what we're teaching here in the New Thought, is to be that which you want to see out in the world. There's not anything to go and say, hey, look at me, or go, everywhere you go, give out pamphlets of how you can save your soul here. Every religion has its own path. Every religion has its own beauty. But for us, we're not in fear. We're in the joy of life, knowing everything has a season. There's patterns to life, and everything has a system. We can create in the earth a section of earth with all the concrete that's out there. I pray that there's a section of earth in your life that you can put your hands in it and sense and feel the richness of it, to pull the weeds that came up. They're flowers too. So it's not that we're getting rid of those darn weeds. It's like, that's not what I'm choosing today. I'm creating, I'm planting seeds of new possibility. And then we nurture and water that. We don't, and this is silly, I heard it so long ago, but we don't plant seeds and then dig them up every week to see if they're growing. We have to sit in the mystery, knowing with faith that what we have activated in the universe is coming to pass. There's no, I remember a cartoon where it was around that thing where the sky is falling, where the chicken was running around going, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. And then it shows a man that fell. The sky is falling. Not the sky is falling, the sky is falling. It puts a different spin on it, doesn't it? So we're not predicting troubles, because troubles have their own weight. And I'm going to actually talk to you guys about 3 stories that will prove, or that I think represent what I'm talking about today. But how many of you as a child played in imagination? Did you have an imaginary friend? Yes? You have an imagination. You played with cars, zoom, zoom, crash, but that was probably a boy thing to do, but I had 5 brothers, so I did it too. But we played with dolls. We played with different marbles. We had imaginations. If we didn't have someone to play with, we created our own. And in that possibility, it says in many of the different philosophies and religions, be childlike to enter into the kingdom of heaven. So what does that mean? Remain innocent. Life makes us better, not bitter. And allow things to happen with joy and excitement. We're never alone. We're all one. We're never alone. So even if the person isn't there physically, we can feel them. Once in the heart, always in our life. So we can have discussions with people. They actually say the more intelligent a person is, the more they talk to themselves. I am super smart, right? So if we're like playing in imagination, if we allow imagination to be part of our living, we've got enough newscasters to fill a universe. We don't need reporters talking about what has happened, right? We need visionaries. We need people that are willing to stand as the lighthouse and holding the possibility for good to find its way here, to be that inspiration. And as we get older, a lot of us have to become adults. And adults are serious. We don't talk about imaginary friends. We don't do imaginary things. And then we just start repeating. When we don't create, when we aren't visioning for something new, we're just forecasting what has always happened, the way it's always happened. And you can be darn sure it's coming because I'm talking about it, So what we give breath to, we give life to. And forgive me for looking at my notes, but I'm so tired. I've been traveling a lot. I finally found my limit. I'm looking for my permanent home. So I love you, and I will come as often as I can. But um, we sometimes miss the supernatural because we're all caught up in what naturally happens. The supernatural is at our fingertips. It's on the tip of our tongue. It's in our mind, body, and soul if we just tap into it and create. There's this dude, you guys might have heard about him. His name was Walt Disney. He talked about creating, and he went and looked at a piece of property in Orange County that had nothing on it. He didn't have the money to do it, but he had a dream. And because of that dream, we now get to go play in Tomorrowland, Adventureland, Fantasyland. I mean, he created an amusement park. So that happened in his later life too. That didn't happen when he was 20. I think it happened in his 50s, and he passed in 65. And I heard, I meant to look this up. I don't want to be spreading rumors, but I heard that a newspaper reporter asked his brother Roy, or told his brother Roy, it's a shame that Walt wasn't here to see this completed. And his brother responded to the reporter, because my brother saw this, we get to see it now. The same energy, the same creative power that runs through each great creator, each person like that, is the same creative power that we have here in us. And age matters not. In fact, most people get more creative after they retire. In the later years in life is when they start making the best time of their life, because they're not doing it for somebody else. They're putting themselves first, as we should always do. So there are 3 stories I wanted to tell you about. The 3 things that have to do with nurture the nature the nurture, something like that. One of them is about tulips. My friend gave me tulips. I didn't know how to grow them. I planted them. There were 4 pots in there. 1 pot never bloomed. The other one, little beautiful white ones, big orange ones. They were gorgeous. But I wondered why that 1 pot never grew. So after the flowers bloomed and faded away, I emptied the pots, and the one that never seemed like it grew, when I emptied it, was full of roots. Roots as big as my little finger. So the lesson in that for me was the absence of evidence was not the evidence of lack. So the lack of evidence is not the evidence of lack, which is something my teacher from Agape, Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith, says. So in that, we talk about, I need to see it to believe it. Wayne Dyer wrote a book, Believe It to See It. I think that everybody sees first. It happens first in the imagination and then in the body, or in the body of life. The second story I want to tell you about, I'm sure you guys have all known, is about the traveler that passed by a little church. He was tired, he was broke, he needed a place to stay. He asked if he could stay there for a while, and they agreed to let him stay. And he says, as restitution, because it's a reciprocal universe, I would like to work on the grounds. They said, please do. So the pastor was gone for several weeks. So this man was working on the grounds of this little church, and when he came back, the traveler walked him around the building and showed him everything that he did. And the pastor kept saying, praise God, this is amazing, praise God. And the traveler finally said, yes, praise God. But you should have seen it when he had it all by himself. So the universe provides everything we need to do whatever we wish to accomplish. But we have to participate with our own good. And I used to say this all the time with the guys in prison. Please look beyond appearances to the spiritual truth of who you are and call forth that which wants to reveal in and as you, because this is temporary. The spirit of you is eternal. The spirit of you has infinite possibilities waiting for you to say, please come forth. I see a vision. I feel its fruition in me, and I actively participate in it. I heard a minister say that, I'm going to have to look, what did he say? Dream big, and don't forget the blood, sweat, and years. Yes, we have a right to ask for whatever it is we want, but 9 times out of 10, it's not going to fall in our lap. We get up and participate with that which we ask for. And in that same line, in the prison, I would tell the guys to vision for their life. Do you guys know what visioning is? It's not visualizing. It's sitting in meditation with intention to receive the intuition of what's ours to do. And in that, they would go, oh, Judy, we don't want to do that. Look around. This is where we're going to be in 5 years, 10 years. And I go, well, today that's true. But if you can see yourself free, if you can see yourself changed, you can see yourself free out of this place. It was hard for most of them to do because the recidivism is high in prison. That means that it becomes learned behavior for them, and it's a pattern now. So even when they're free, they go back to what they know, and they end up where they were. So in that understanding, I discovered that it is easy for people to clean up a mess than to create a future. It's easier to clean up a mess. When they get out of prison, or when they're in prison, they're told when to go to sleep, they're told when to eat, they're told when they can have free time. It's easier to clean up a mess than it is to create a future. Follow me so far? Yeah? And then the third one, has you guys ever heard of the ecosphere? It was a project they did some years back, and what they were doing is trying to recreate the ecosystem to see if when they go to Mars, not if they go to Mars, but when they go to Mars, can they recreate an ecosystem that is sustainable, that's sustainable for people to live there. So they created this dome. They built everything self-sustaining, everything very green, and it was beautiful for a while. But the trees only grew so high, and then they fell over. And they go, well, what happened there? And then they realized they didn't have wind. They didn't have anything pushing against the tree that would drive the roots into the earth so that the tree could be stronger. So in that, I think they also discovered something about humans. We're trying to make life comfortable. We want it to be easy, predictable. Guess what? That doesn't build muscles. Now that I am in this delicate age, I discover what the doctors keep telling me is that your body, your bones in particular, need resistance training to strengthen. And I go, can I sit on the couch and visualize? And they go, well, you can do that, but you need to participate in your own rescue. You need to develop your body. You need to take action so that your thoughts, your words, and your actions are in the same direction. And that you then become the beauty and the vision you want to see in the world. You don't have to tell people who you are, they can see. And besides, people want to tell you who they are, so we have to become good listeners as well. Listen to that which is seeking to express around us and be that nature that they can nurture themselves in until they remember on their own who and what they are and whose and what they are. Is that a signal? No? Okay. So the three stories, the last one, the first one was the lack of evidence is not the evidence of lack. We have to do the work. We plant the seeds. We've created a rich environment for the seed to thrive. We've watered it. We've shined the light on it. And the sweet expectation that if we plant cucumbers, we're not praying for squash. We're not surprised that it shows up a cucumber. We planted the seed of that. So participate in the spiritual growth of your environment. The third one, where the man was cleaning around the church, is that yes, the universe provides all that we need. See beyond appearance and visualize what you can do with what you have. It's amazing what we can do with what we have. And then the third one of the ecosystem, I probably shared this with you before. Everybody wants everything to be peaceful. I'm here. I'm not making fun of that. It's good to do that at least twice a day for 20 minutes, but not all day long every day. This is called flatlining in life. This is what you need. Take a breath in, let a breath out. Take a breath in, let a breath out. Let the heartbeat live you in and through you as you forevermore. And as we do this, it says, or I wrote that gradually it becomes something you can recognize in the world. You've taken what you visioned and you can now see it growing in your world all around you, gradually. And then people will come up to you suddenly and say, wow, you've really got a blessed life, because they don't recognize it until the blossom comes. But you know the work you've been putting in. Gradually, you will continually improve with the systems you put in place that develop your character, that shines forth who you believe yourself to be. And then suddenly people will recognize it. I think it was amazing that when I would volunteer at Tony Robbins, I volunteered for 5 years. After they hired me, all of a sudden I had a line of friends that wanted to be my friend. I go, gradually I did the work. Suddenly they don't notice me. Now, stay true to yourself, because sometimes other weeds come up and they want to feed off your garden. And it's nice to be the light for people, but don't let them suck the light out of you. Does that make sense? It's not that there's evil in the world, but when people don't know what to do, they want what you have. It's normal, it's natural. But being the light, showing them the habits that you've developed to be that light, and when you attract the bees to feed them with the blossoms of your life, it's possible, but don't let them cut and take the flower home. Make sense? So I don't know. There's a big glare on that clock up there, but I think I've done my 20 minutes. I can't really tell, Jeff. So
Got 2 minutes.
2 minutes. What can I do in 2 minutes? So in 2 minutes, be like, to summarize, be like children. Be like Walt Disney and vision a world and create a world where people can come and forget about their troubles and experience Tomorrowland and experience Adventureland and experience Fantasyland. The reality of life is there, the tangible, non-tangible of the news. It's always going to be there. We don't need to recreate that. Sometimes in my past, people have called me Captain Obvious. Oh, we know that, Judy. Be an example of possibility. Like my friend Miriam Green, I'm going to I passed my ordination panels. I'm now an ordained minister. Yes, thank you. Now, to let you know, in 2007, I planted the seed of ministerial school. And between 2007 and 2026, there were earthquakes and thunderstorms and tornadoes and all these other things that happened that was like trying to knock me off my path. And I stood there and pressed into the wind, and here I am. And my ordination is going to be on September 12th in Palm Springs. Road trip. Anybody up for a road trip? But anyway, Miriam is going to sing for me on that day. My favorite song in the spiritual community is Sing Through My Heart. And that pretty much is how I feel. That it's not something I have to do, it's who I am. Through all of the seeming difficulties, it helped me become the person I am today, that can stand before you and know without a shadow of a doubt that love is here expressing through each and every one of us. And like a flower that breaks through the concrete, nothing and no one can deny it. We stand at the doorway of our heart and our mind. Welcome the beauty of life. Thank you very much.